Alright guys, mic check, mic check. Perfect, perfect. Alright, so about 4 minutes for the rate announcement. I've got 2 charts up, so if we have a problem with the MT4 platform, we can I can still see what's going on. Thanks, Evalio. So currently, let's get rid of this. Let's take a look at the daily quickly. Let's get some levels marked up. So we've got this bottom level down here at 11,438. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put another level up here. We may run for this, to be honest. So there's a couple of scenarios. It's either we rip to the upside, you know, and then drop, or we just drop. You know, I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think this is going to be a continued move. But obviously, you know, we're not doing sort of live trading in the sense of putting like buy stops and sell stops and just hoping one of those gets hit. You know, this is, in my opinion, you know, it may work for some people, but I think it's quite dangerous. So we're just going to be really, really patient. We're going to let the market do whatever it needs to do. And then just hopefully, ideally, I keep saying this over and over again, what I'd love to see is price rip to the upside and then just reject and start to tank. If that happens, it makes it so much easier, you know, to enter a trade. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop the size down 1. Remember, we're still using a small account. Currently, I did a very small test trade here, which you can see on the 5 or the 15-minute chart. Yeah, I was testing the market to see whether or not this move, the second, you see this drop, that's what I wanted, right? And basically, price ran up, reversed, really slowed, you know, really started to slow down here. Sorry, on this candle right here, you know, and then really started to slow down. We've got some continuation on the 5-minute chart, so you can see here, you see just there it pops and then it just dropped really quickly, and I was like, perfect. Probably running for these levels down here around about 11,860, 11,870, but there was just no follow through, and it was just basically sitting around, basically bouncing around between break even and down about, you know, £1.50. So, you know, that's that. The account sits at £1,007.05. But again, as I keep mentioning, very, very, very slow and controlled trading. We're not looking, you know, to make insane amounts of money. We're not looking to go crazy yet. We're just being very, very methodical, very careful. We want to put ourselves on the right side of things, you know, and we're going to do this very professionally. Let's put this one on. This is a really nice tune. Good evening, Bigor. Sugar. You have to go 2% in either direction to get the same price as the last CPI where you had to go 1.25. Yeah. Yeah. 1 more minute. 1 more minute. And I'm looking at both charts. You can't see what's on the other one, so for now anyway. May get a run up, man. It is possible that we get a run up. So see what happens. So it's currently 7 o'clock. The announcement should be out. So we've paused. Nope, we haven't. Definitely slowed down though. definitely slowed down on the MT4 platform. Getting a bit of a drop real time, 11,797. Very sluggish. Now we're at 11,852. Yeah, it's bouncing up and down, up and down. One sec. Let's go down to the 1 minute chart. You can't see what I'm looking at, guys. Sorry, I want to make sure that I've got the correct data. Price could be anywhere at this time. Yeah, so I want to make sure that I'm looking at the right. Wow. 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 Okay. No, sorry. I was looking at the wrong chart. And just to let you guys know, at the minute, I have no idea what the actual rate announcement is. I'm watching the charts. $4.5, right? So it stayed the same. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, 4.5. So 50 basis points. Little bit of a push lower. Let's drop down to the 1 minute chart and see whether this is ticking up and down. Yeah, basically paused. Yeah. It's basically jumping 20 points at a time, right? And this is interesting because this isn't just my MT4 platform. This is actually happening across 3 charts. MT4, TradingView, and another chart that I'm looking at as well. So we're just going to kind of let this filter through. I'm really, really not interested, in doing anything silly here. Yeah, thanks, Sugar. Serga, sorry, Serga. Terminal rate at 5.25. All right. All right, now we're getting somewhere. There we go. Bit more movement. Okay, servers are catching up. I'm gonna drop to 10. So if I'm looking to do something with this, I'm basically just gonna drop to 10. To be honest, if we go to the 15-minute chart, what like have we really seen anything change right now? Yeah, this is a lot of traders get into a lot of trouble doing stuff like this, right? You can see the range for today is very tight. You're talking about 140 points, nothing, right? And basically, price went up, broke out a little bit, tried to go a secondary time, pulled back, had a little bit of a run, secondary run just before the rate announcement. Then obviously we're getting this pretty nasty drop, right? But the drop itself, about 180 points, it's not really a lot considering we're still within, or very close to be within, the daily range. So I just want to be really, really, really cautious. Keep raising the terminal rate. Yeah, that's what I think is happening. Yeah. So again, let me just go to the 5 minute. So 3 minutes into the rate announcement, we've had a pretty decent drop. I don't just want to jump into this. Just want to let things settle just a little bit. I want to kind of get a feel for whether or not this is going to continue to the downside, or whether it's basically just going to stabilize where it is and not really do anything. Yeah. Still got a lot of announcements coming this week. Obviously, this is the Fed rate today, which is the big one. We've got the press conference in about half an hour, which may very well change things. So again, got to be very, 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 very cautious. This is just the initial reaction, at 50 basis points, and then the press conference. And then tomorrow, we've got core retail sales and unemployment claims. Again, pretty decent. And they generally tend to move the market a little bit. So, yeah, sat on your hands, absolutely, man. It's very, very easy to get on the wrong side of these trades, man. So easy. Got to be really, really careful. Look at the skips, man. Wow, this is a 1 minute chart. Look at the skips. You're talking 4-point skip, 4-point skip. And I know it's obviously rebalanced very, very quickly. Got another skip here, look. And let me check on the other platform, right, and see whether or not this is actually. Yeah, it might be a data issue. Okay, so yeah, I'm not seeing it on the others. So yeah, it's probably a data issue on MT4. All right, cool. So let's just let this settle. Wow, already 5 minutes into the game and they've already scored a goal. Fantastic. I want an Argentina-France final, to be fair. Welcome, man. Really want to go short this market, man, but I'm not feeling it. Really not feeling it at the minute. Again, just a reminder, I've dropped my size right down to the minimum. Yeah, I can probably go lower than this, but 0.10 is fine. Again, we're using a very sort of a medium starting account, right? We started at £1,000. We're looking to kind of run this up to something meaningful. 25% given away every Friday. Make sure you like the stream as well. Share it with people. Just focused here on this price. I'm trying to get a feel for whether or not there's any downward pressure, or whether or not this is literally just, algos and market orders basically just firing through very quickly, high frequency trading. Everything's gone nuts, and it's basically just capitalizing on an extremely quick move, and then it's just going to stabilize in this area until the press conference. This is something that I need to be aware of, before I go jumping into the market. I'm not sure, Reese. Sergey will be able to tell you. So the thing is as well, we need to see where price went to, right? So price basically dropped all the way down to 11,716. This is on this feed. Remember, this is on this feed. This feed, yeah? This is not the futures market. This is the NASDAQ 100 index, yeah? You have to be, I've got to make sure that we're clear on this, right? So the numbers that you see here may be slightly out, on what you may see on a futures platform, right? So we've got a little bit of liquidity build up below here. There's a very small amount of liquidity here, around about 678. You're talking maybe about 80 points away. Let's take a look at the 5. See, 5 is pushing a little. Is it worth jumping on this? Probably see 700. It's 26.24. Yeah, you see that's dropping pretty fast now. I want to see the reaction at this low. Absolutely not going long. Not a chance. Not a chance. Two minutes left of this 5 minute candle. We are going to see 700. See dropping. Very close to 700. Probably clear 700. The reaction at the 700 handle is key, right? As to whether or not you see they're defending it. Just drop through. Now let's see whether or not this is defended. See 700, 700. I'm going to keep counting 7. That's 3 times. 4, 5, and now we're running up. Look, 15, 11, 12. So the 700 was defended, but not a lot, right? That wasn't a huge amount of defending, right? The 700 handle, right? 11,700. So. Whatever orders were there have pretty much been absorbed very quickly. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take... Nope, misquote. Wow, okay. So I'm short. Literally 110 lot. That's it. And just to show you here on the 4 hour, absorbing this liquidity right here. So it's dropped straight into it. A little bit of absorption. But I think we're going to clear 700 again and start to drop. Probably closer to 680, 675, 680. Now this is where we'll get an idea of whether or not we're going to be running higher or not. Okay, If we run to 60, I'll take another short. I'll add to the position. And I'm also mindful, obviously, that 7:30 is the press conference. If it just runs from here, I'm not adding to the position. So let's do this a bit. Scrunch the chart up. Ideally, where I want to be is here. Look, let me show you. This is the target right here. That's where I want to be. Around about 675. So again, defending the 700, not too bad. What do we got here on the chat? Based unemployment. Yeah. 4.4%, and they seem to be implying in the next. Yeah. This is just clearing orders at this area, man. If we clear 700 again, I think we're gonna. I think we're good for a pretty decent drop, to be honest, because we're not even responding at this level, right? In any meaningful way, right? So there's not a lot of buyers at this level. You got to remember, the Nasdaq is very, very volatile. Of the three, the Dow Jones, the S&P, right, and the Nasdaq is the most volatile out of the three. And again, we're literally just stabilizing down here. So think about it like this: if I had a £10 per point position on right now, right, I would be down between 70 and max maybe 250 down on a position, right? So obviously, if you're using a pretty decent size account, let's say 10 grand, 15,000, 20,000 pounds, this is a normal standard position, right? And this is how we want to start to think about these things, in terms of some of the future numbers that we're going to be using, right? And I'd be watching that amount, down 200, 250, 300 maybe. Go on, 60. How many minutes left? 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 12 minutes. Okay. So 7:12. So we'll put 70. Don't want to add just yet. 61. Come on, one last push. Come on. 2.5. Okay. Yeah, this is the thing, Sergey. There's so many variables, with what he could potentially say. What are we clearing here? So 78. So back to 9s, 800s. Okay. I just want to let this filter for a minute. The 15-minute candle's almost done. I want to see what the high of this 15-minute candle is. So 5 points off 800. I'm just rambling to myself, by the way, while I'm doing this. What do we got? Okay, yeah. Okay. Now let's see. "15 minutes in. 54. Okay. Okay, so we're going to add there, and we're going to put this one about 40 pips away. Now, what we need to do... Yeah, we're going to get stopped on this, aren't I? Obviously with FOMC as well, with these kind of, you know, with the volatility of FOMC, got to use slightly larger stops, and also, like, if I don't know if you guys have ever traded cross pairs on the forex market, but you know, when you're trading something like the euro Aussie dollar, for example, which is super volatile, right? You can't trade that the same way that you trade, you know, the pound USD, for example, which is basically, you know, a 1 pip spread. You know, you're talking like sometimes all the way up to 13, 14, 15 pip spreads, you know, and you just have to use wider stops. So let's see how this fares. Again, just watching this on the 1 minute chart. Let's bring this up a little bit and see what's going on. Look at that 50. Bouncing at 50, bouncing at 50, going back up to 60. I really want to see some movement to the downside, otherwise I'm just going to close both positions and then just revisit it again at 7:30. The other challenge we face right now as well is when we have expected numbers that are hit, changes things. There's no shock value because people are expecting it, right? No, I need to do something with my son. So 7:30. I'll be watching it, but I'll be watching it while I'm doing whatever I'm doing with my son. If I see something meaningful, obviously I'll take the trade. But for now, like I said, we're just time of year testing markets. You know, it's just we just got to be very careful about how we're trading, you know, during December, and just kind of slowly easing our way into these live streams, live trading. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. 6 minutes within a 30-point range. Wow, this is going to pop one way or another, right? If it takes this top stop, I'll close both positions. And just to show you, right, how wide these ranges actually are, you know, in terms of FOMC and how the ranges open up, I've got literally 20 pence per point position open, right? So 2.10 lots, or whatever you want to call them. And I'm down, like, basically bouncing around between sort of £4 down and around about sort of £7 down, right? Which doesn't seem like a big deal, but when you look at the percentage of what, that's like 0.5%, yeah. Well, it's less actually, because the balance currently sits at £1,000 and £1,007, right? So it's about 3.5, almost 4%, that it's been fluctuating between 2% and 5%. You know, sorry, 0.2% and 0.5%. You know, up and down of the total value of the account, so it's not too bad. Yeah, Nordic. Yeah. France won. They're going to win. They're going to win. So I think it's going to be an Argentina-France final, to be fair. It just looks like we're waiting for the press conference. So I'm going to give it another. I'll give it another 4 or 5 minutes. See what happens. And if we don't get any movement, then obviously I'll kind of monitor these positions, see what happens with those, and then come back and revisit things, you know, after the press conference, if we don't get some continued movement to the downside. There's plenty of reason on the daily for price to be going lower, to be honest, especially with yesterday's sort of CPI rejection. Wow, it's really bouncing off this 50, you know, but the longer it keeps doing, well, the more it keeps doing this, the more likely it is to kind of run through and get to my first entry. So let me ask you guys, man, I mean, are you finding value in these live streams? Because obviously next year, like, things are going to be very different next year when the markets start to pick up. It's going to be so much easier to trade, you know. But are you guys finding value in this? Because, like, to be fair, I know most of you are from the LSP TV Discord server, and I know none of you really care about the 25%. You know, I know at some point when it becomes meaningful, yeah, fair enough. But I know that's not why you guys are here. You know, that's just me, you know, doing something for the community, and then obviously trying to, you know, promote the stream and get things moving a little bit. Because I just constantly like to be different all the time. Yeah, sweet. I think the bottom of the markets will be around May, June. What do you think, LSP? May, June next year. I think first quarter next year we're going to see something pretty interesting. You know, I think that's kind of going to set the tone for the remainder of the year, I think, to be honest. So January, February, March, we should start to see something quite interesting. I'm a beginner in learning. I find what you do valuable. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Bigar. Serga, thank you. Nordic, giving the score. Nice. So we're basically sitting at break even on these two positions, but I want to see some acceleration, man. Come on. You know, like, I just know it's going to end up down there today. Right? This is what aggravates me. You know, during these times, still find it hard to take a trade on the lower time frames. Yeah, it's because of speed, Gates. That's all it is. You're not used to speed. You should focus on the 15-minute. Stay on the 15-minute chart for 3 months. What I used to do is I used to open a trade on the hourly, and then I'd watch it on the 15, and then I'd start opening trades on 15 and watching them on the 5-minute, and then open it. This was after QCOM. QCOM was a completely different story because I used to trade with the 1-minute, 2-minute, you know, 5-minute charts, and my 15-minute was my bias chart, to be fair. So, but I had multiple screens. I think I had 6 screens and then a huge screen above, so 7 screens just kind of showing the news. Used to listen to Maria every day. It takes time for your eyes to adjust, for your brain to adjust to the speed. When you're trading extremely volatile and very fast-paced, fast-moving, very fast-moving, fast-paced stocks, or, you know, forex pairs, whatever it is, you know, you keep doing that over time, and you kind of watch your risk, and you're careful, and you're really sort of monitoring your positions, you know. Eventually it starts to slow down, and you start to see the nuances. This is becoming super boring now, man. Now, this 1 minute candle, I know it's only a 1 minute candle. It's not really a big deal, you know, but if it really starts to show a little bit of strength in the next minute, I'm just going to close these positions and then come back. I want to see a drop, and it needs to happen in the next 2-3 minutes. Mainly due to time constraints, work, etc. But ideally, I'd like to see a potential trade set up on a higher and then take it on the lower. Yeah, okay. No, Bigar. It depends. Everybody's different. Learning patience and biggest learning so far. Find that valuable. Thank you, Nordic. It depends, Bigar, because everybody trades completely differently, right? You know, me personally, I mean, I've kind of transitioned into using, you know, sort of high time frame levels, dropping down to the hourly for confirmation, and using maybe the 15-minute for my entries, right? You know, I don't normally drop down to these lower time frames, but obviously trading the Nasdaq 100 is completely different, man. This thing is so fast, right? And you need to see the structure, you know, of price within each candle, right? So if I want to see what a 5-minute candle looks like, I've got to drop down to a minute chart. If I want to see what a 15-minute candle looks like, I've got to drop down to a 5-minute chart, because it's not enough to just say, okay, well, there's a big candle. I want to know what that candle represents, right? This is, again, in my opinion, where people get it wrong. You know, they see these big candles, and if we take this candle right here, right? So this was yesterday's CPI candle. That candle is made up of a bunch of different hourly candles. You know, it's made up of a bunch of different 15-minute candles, a lot of 5-minute candles, and a shit ton of 1-minute candles. So you can start to look at what that 4-hour time frame or time period looks like. Was it fast? Was it slow? Did it spend a lot of time at a particular level? So if you're looking at a 4-hour candle like this, for example, right? You know, and then you drop down to a 15-minute or a 5-minute chart, you may find, for example, that it spent a lot of time in this area, right? So you look at the entire candle and you say, wow, it was here and then it ended up here. Great, that's fine. But why did it spend so much time at this level, right? That, you know, is that an interesting level? Is that something that I can pay attention to going forward? What about if price starts to come back down to this level? This level is going to be important. You know, maybe it was an accumulation level to run up to the upside. Maybe it was a level where a huge amount of orders hit the marketplace, you know, and algos kicked in, high frequency trading machines kick in. You know, you have to be able to break everything down, right, and understand what that means to you in your trading. You know, a lot of it, to be honest, a lot of trading is feel. You know, it really is. Like, I'm feeling through this 1 minute chart right now, right? You know, I don't care much for the 1 minute chart, but I want to see what this 5-minute, you know, what this 5-minute time frame is saying. What's the 5-minute time frame saying, right? We had a really nice push here. That's nothing more than just a reaction off these lows. Fine, whatever, right? But is the downward pressure still there? Is price trying to maintain this 50 level, the 750 level? And if it is, what does that look like? Does it look like it is trying to punch back through the 50 and run higher? Or does it look like it's just bumping its head up against, you know, the 50 to basically accumulate more sell positions, right, and then start driving lower? You know, and we can't do that on the 5-minute. We have to do that on the 1 minute. And you can see it's spending a lot of time at this 50, right? So if we do this, you know, look at the time it's spending at this 50. Bang, 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 bang. It's just bouncing up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, obviously, ideally, it just drops. Yeah, it just goes, and that's fine. But one way or another, this is going to go up or down. It's not going to stay here, right? But it's doing a lot of work at this 50 level. Yeah, so we're back up at 75 now. This, you know, this needs to be reversed. If it doesn't get reversed, I'm very close to closing these two positions. You know, there you go. You see what I mean? And I'm glad that this is in real time and you guys can actually see what's happening here, because you can see when it goes up, it's just pushing straight back through the 50. When it goes up, it's pushing straight back through the 50. It's not the candles. It's not patterns. We're not looking at wicks. We're not looking at, when we're using something as quick as what we're looking at right now, we're not looking at each specific candle and saying, oh, it's a doji, or it's this, it's that, it's whatever. We're looking at the way in which price is moving at these levels. That's the most important thing, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close the position down here, and I'm just going to leave this one open now because we're spending way too much time here at the 50, right? So I've reduced the risk. Yeah, so I came close to basically my first initial entry position. I've closed that out. I'm basically just going to leave this now to either get target down here, you know, which would put us in for, if we can finally tag it, where is it? So put us in for about £7, yeah, which would put us around about £1,012, £1,013, you know, or we're going to take about a £4.43 loss, you know, which still keeps us above, you know, the 1,000 level. So we'll just let this position ride out. I'm quite happy with that one for now. Let's take a look at the chat. Thanks for the explanation. You're very welcome, Big R. Like I said, you get a feel for markets, right? You get a feel for the way things are moving, and you get a feel for the asset that you're looking at, right? Gold, for example. Gold is so volatile. 1 minute you could be at one price, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, for no reason, you're just in a completely different place, and you're like, what on earth just happened? Like, it's so insane, right? And although you can get to see something like that on some of the indices, gold is the worst. Like, gold is so bad, right? But the reason I mention it is because you have to get a feel for the asset that you're looking at, for the asset that you're trading. You have to understand, you know, the speed in which it moves. You've got to understand the ranges that you're playing with, right? I'm constantly looking at the ATRs for these, right? Look at the madness that we're dealing with. Every single 1 minute candle for the last 30 candles has an average range of 31 points, almost 32 points. That is crazy, right? That is crazy. So, you know, watching price this way and familiarizing yourself with the speed really helps you to understand the asset that you're trading, how to manage it, where to place your stops. And if you let it, the market will teach you how to trade, right? These are the key elements that we need to be focused on and paying attention to. The market will tell you how to trade. So for example, I've got a position open here. I'm looking at the 1 minute chart of the NASDAQ, right? The market's telling me to just leave this position. Just leave it alone. I don't need to do anything. I've reduced the risk because it's staying at these levels far longer than I want it to. But so far, we were on one side of the 50, right? So if you split this up, look what's happened. We went through the 50, yeah, so the 750 level. We spent a lot of time above the 50, then we broke the 50 to the downside, came back up again, and now we're spending time below, yeah? So if you want to look at it as a visual aid, this section right here was above the 50, and this section here now is starting to spend a lot more time below the 50, all right? So small nuances, yeah? What do they mean? How can we use these nuances, right, to make better, you know, trading decisions? Now, again, to be really, really clear, we're dealing with a 1 minute chart here, right? We're not dealing with, you know, a 5 or a 10 or a 15 minute candle, you know, that's going to take time to move and you can actually add a little bit more weight to it. We're dealing with a 1 minute chart that could very, very easily just pop to the upside, stop me out, and then drop again. Yeah, I'm well aware of that. But as a live trade, something that we're monitoring as it's happening, we're constantly watching the way that price is moving around and spending time at these levels and trying to deduce what it's actually doing at these levels, right? We're literally 30 points away from 700. Now we're 15 points. Now we're 10 points. You see what I mean? So we've seen that shift from trying to accumulate to the buy side, right, above 50, to slowly shifting to below the 50, right, and wanting to spend a little bit more time. Wow, there was a nice blip. So there you go. You know, now we saw that happen real time, right? That's such a beautiful trade, absolutely beautiful trade, right? Now we saw that happen in real time on the 1 minute chart in a way where we can almost, how can I say, we can almost, I would say confidently, but we can almost guarantee that we saw that shift from above 50 to below 50, where price is trying to accumulate to the buy side. So I know for a fact, especially now watching price, you know, kind of move low and, you know, doing what it's doing now, we can look at it and say, yeah, now we know that the accumulation that was happening at 50 was to the sell side. Not just because we look at it afterwards and say, oh, we got lucky on this trade. Do any of you guys think that I got lucky on this trade? And honestly, I'm not asking because I want kudos. I'm asking because I really want to understand how people think, you know, and then I can adjust the way that I'm going through these live studies, you know, to better help you understand what it is that I'm trying to go through. So the question again, do you think I got lucky on this trade? Yeah, Nordic speed. I'm assuming you mean gold there. Gold is very, very fast, man. Gold is nasty. Let me show you. Metals. So, in terms of pippage, right, that's like a 157 pip move. I know it's FOMC, blah, 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 right? But, you know, it's literally, let me show you, say, an hour chart. You're literally, this drop right here last week on Monday, right? I was watching it. I'm just chilling, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, for absolutely no reason whatsoever, right? You know, at 1 o'clock, bang, it just starts to run, and then obviously 2 o'clock it really starts to go, right? That happens on the lower time frames. You're just chilling out, minding your own business, and then all of a sudden gold's like, you know, you're at 98, so 1,798, and then all of a sudden, you know, price is like, I don't know, 1,787, and you don't think that's a big move, but on gold it absolutely is. Spot gold is insane, and silver's even worse. I don't know if you guys have ever traded silver, but oh my goodness, man, silver is so volatile, it's insane. So look at the daily. Talking about the minutes before. Yeah. Thanks, Beagle. Thanks, Gatesy. Appreciate it. So the reason I asked that question is because it's so easy to look at these trades and say, okay, you know, yeah, maybe he did get a little bit lucky, whatever. But I really want you guys to understand what happened on the 1 minute chart. Yeah. And what it is that I'm actually trying to see on this 1 minute chart, right? It's not crap that I'm making up. I really want you guys to know and understand that when you're watching price this way, you know, you can get a feel for what's happening at certain levels, right? So these small nuances, they're not just price is at one level, then it, you know, the candle finishes and it's at another level. Something happened along the way. Yeah, and it's the what happened along the way that we need to try to understand and really get a feel for, right? So we spend a lot of time above that 50, man, and a lot of time below that 50. But the crossover point is literally here. Yeah. So there's your 50. Right. And you can see that price, like I said, spent that amount of time on the upside and then that amount of time on the downside. So check this out. This is so cool, man. I love this shit. Honestly, I really do. Check this out. So I'm going to do something here to help you guys visualize what I'm talking about. So when price is here, you're like, is it buying? Yeah. Is price buying these price levels? What's it doing? Is it buying above the 50, buying above the 50, buying above the 50 to start to run up and clear all of this, right? And really start to basically leave this huge wick behind on the hourly chart, right? Or as price goes through, it spent all of this time above the 50, then it starts to base along the 50 and then it drops. Just there. It drops really quickly, right? So as it drops and then it retests and then it drops again, right? We know that it's picking up sell side, right? 100% is picking up sell side. The volatility of the 1 minute chart could easily have stopped us out, right? But it's picking up sell side. So this is about timing entries and understanding, okay, I'm very confident that price is going lower. I'm very confident at the levels that I'm looking for. I know exactly what it is that I want to see, right? But I need to wait for something like this where I see that crossover. That gives me the confirmation, right? That price is going to keep doing what I think it's going to do. And the longer it was spending here at 50, the more confident I am that it's not picking up buy-side liquidity to start running up to the upside or pairing orders to go up, yeah? It's doing it to go lower. So the defending of the 50 basically was just nothing more than, you know, clearing books, doing whatever it needed to do, accumulating to the downside, and obviously you get that really nice drop. Now let's take a look at the 5 minute chart and see what that's saying. Let's get rid of this. We don't need this. We don't need you. See you later. And we don't need you. Goodbye. Daily looks really nice, man. Really happy with this daily chart. Range that we're playing with. We've still got around about 250 pips to go to get, you know, to hit these lows down here, man. So we don't need this anymore, so we can get rid of that. So this is effectively what we're looking at. I will make a reference to this, just so you guys are aware. Okay, and we can go through this in future sessions if it's needed. Just make this blue. Yeah, so this is an important level, and we'll go through that at a later time. For now, it doesn't matter. All right. So with that said, guys, I'm going to shoot off. I've got a little bit, you know, some stuff that I need to do with my son, and then I'm going to go and watch the second half of the game. And I hope you enjoyed the live stream. So far so good. Account is growing slowly, and if I see anything spectacular in the next 20 minutes, I might take a quick trade, but I'm really probably not going to be trading. I'm pretty much done for the day. Yeah, thanks, Begar. Alright guys, take care, and you'll find me in all the usual places. Don't forget to like the stream, don't forget to subscribe. I know you all are, but for anybody that watches this later, and I'm going to say this before I leave, you wait and see what happens, right, when that 25% becomes something meaningful. Right? I want thousands of people on this stream.